I'm Cath. My channel is made by Cath Craft. Thank you so much for joining me for another one of my videos, and welcome if you are new to my channel. I love to talk about all things sewing related with a little bit of knitting sometimes thrown in too. And today's video is a makes video, and I haven't done a makes video for quite a while actually, or I've done a couple of sort of favourites type 2021 year-end roundup type videos, but not a video of what I've been making just recently. I think I didn't do one in December because it was Vlogmas and I was busy with Vlogmas. So I was looking back over December and over January, and I decided I got quite a few makes to share in one video, so I'm going to split it up. So this video is all about what I was making mainly in December, and then I'm going to do a separate video in a couple of weeks about mainly what I've been making in January. So I hope that's okay. I thought if I put all the makes together in one bumper video, it might end up being a bit long and I might rush it a little bit. So I thought if I do two shorter videos, I can take my time, there's no rush, and hopefully that'll be okay. So I've got a few really nice items that I made in December that I'm really pleased with, and I'm looking forward to sharing them with you. But first of all, as usual, I thought I'd start the vlog with what I'm wearing today. So this week, here in the southeast of England, it's been a very overcast week. We haven't had a great deal of sunshine, which has been a bit of a shame because it's always nice to lift one's spirits with a bit of sunshine. Even though we've had quite a lot of cloud cover, it's been quite overcast, it's still fairly chilly out there. So today I've got a cosy jumper on and a skirt, and I realised this week I hadn't been wearing many skirts this winter. I've been mainly in jeans and jumpers and dresses, so I thought this week I'm going to make a big effort to get out my skirts because I really enjoy wearing a skirt too. So it's a handmade jumper or sweatshirt and a handmade skirt, and first of all the sweatshirt I made using one of my favourite sweatshirt patterns, which is the South Bank sweater pattern by Nina Lee London. It's a really nice, fairly, I guess, fitted sweater. It's got a drop shoulder and this nice band collar that makes it really cosy, like a stand-up collar. You can either make the dress, I've made the dress and it's really nice and cosy for winter, with a cuff on the bottom and these little cuffs on the sleeves, or you can make a top, which is almost like a kind of slightly relaxed fit, sort of turtleneck style top, or you can make a little cropped sweatshirt version here. It's got a really good size range on this pattern too. It's one of the patterns that Nina Lee has put out in her extended size range. So there's a 0 to 20, sorry no, that's not right. There's a UK 6 to 20 range, which is the one I've got here. And there's also a 16 to 28 UK sizes range too. So yeah, it's a good size range on this one. Oh, and it's designed for stretchy fabrics. I think it recommends, for version 1 and version 3, the more kind of sweatery, cosy ones, it recommends a medium to heavyweight knit, but for version 2 you can use a lighter weight knit and it could be a bit more drapey, I guess like a turtleneck would be. So anyway, the version I'm wearing is, version 3 is this crop version. I really like a crop jumper. I find them really versatile and great to kind of layer up with things like skirts. So yeah, my version's the crop version. I made it in, I think, a size UK 8. So my sizing would actually put me at a bust for a UK 6, and then a waist for a UK 8, and then a hips just above a UK 8. But I've always gone for the 8, even at the bust, just because I like having a bit of room in here. I've got it layered up today over a t-shirt, and I don't want it too tight. So yeah, the UK 8s always work for me, and I've made that in the dress version too, again for a slightly more oversized fit on me. And I made it in this really nice fleece back sweatshirting fabric. It's black and you can see it's got lots of little flecks of different colours on. I think it's called a Cozy Colours sweatshirt fleece, and I got this black colour from Guthrie Garni, I think. But you can get it from loads of different places. I think it's quite a popular one and there are loads of different colours. I've made another jumper in the red colour, and I've got another one of these crop versions in the navy colour too, and I wear them all the time, particularly my two crop versions. But there are loads of different colours. There's a really nice mustard. I think I've seen a pink colour too that's quite pretty. But yeah, I'll just stand up so you can see how cropped it is. So it sort of finishes just slightly overlapping my skirt band. And the skirt I'm wearing is another one of my favourite skirt patterns. It is the Estuary skirt pattern by Sew Liberated. It's a really nice comfy skirt to wear, this one, because although it's got a flat front on the waistband, it's got an elasticated back. So also it has this feature of this button placket down the front, but you can make it as a faux placket because of the elastic. You don't need to undo the buttons, so that's quite nice, particularly if you're working with maybe a drapier fabric where you don't want to risk doing buttonholes and get any snags or anything. Yeah, it's a really nice skirt pattern for quite a swishy gathered skirt, and you can make it in different lengths, and you can add patch pockets or inseam pockets. Both options are included in the pattern. And it's another one with a really good size range. It goes from a US size 0 to a US size 30. So yeah, a really great size range. And I think I sized down on this one actually. My first version I made came up a bit big around the waist. So I think I sized down a size smaller than my waist. But with the elastic at the back, you can kind of adjust it slightly to kind of make it fit. So I think the sizing probably isn't too critical, and the hip sizing definitely isn't critical because there's loads of room. I think if you're making a long version of this, you need to make sure you buy a wide fabric because the pattern piece ends up being quite large and you need a decent amount of fabric to be able to fold over the back piece. Although I guess you could always cut it like 2 back pieces and sew a centre seam if you had a narrower fabric you really wanted to use. But anyway, I'm going off subject a little bit. The version I made though, I'll stand up so you can see the fabric. It's a really pretty rayon fabric and with this lovely black base and these really beautiful, vibrant, I don't know if they're poppies, these lovely, pretty pinky sort of ready flowers on it. And I got this from John Lewis when I actually went shopping in a fabric store, which hasn't happened for quite a long time actually with COVID. I got it a long time ago and it was really good value. I can't remember, it was reduced price and it was really good value. So I knew I wanted to make something like a little skirt because I thought it'd be nice in the winter but also the summer. So I wear this with like a black vest top in the summer and flip-flops, but then I wear it with cosy tights and a jumper. Today I've got some really thick cotton tights on which are keeping me cosy. Oh, and I added buttons, and I think I actually did I do buttonholes? Oh no, I didn't do buttonholes, it's a faux placket. I've got the buttons added on, you can see little black buttons, but I didn't do the buttonholes, I just sewed them on, so it's a totally faux placket. But that's what I'm wearing today, and I'll put a picture up so you can see how that looks. It's a really comfy, relaxed one to wear. The elasticated waist of the skirt makes it extra comfy. So yeah, that's what I'm wearing today. Oh, and I forgot to mention, but you may have seen from the picture, I didn't go for any of the lengths per the pattern for the estuary skirt. I've chopped mine off and made it an above the knee length version. The first version I made of the estuary skirt, I went for a midi style length, and when I wore it out I just didn't feel like it was very me. So ever since then, when I've made the estuary skirt, I think I've made maybe 3 versions. I've always made it above the knee of more of a mini length, and that suits me a lot better. So yeah, I thought I'd mention that, you've probably seen from the picture. But anyway, let me move on to what I've been making. So these are mostly December makes, and the first one is the first thing I made in December, and it's a sweatshirt I made using one of my favourite sweatshirt patterns, which you might already be familiar with if you've watched my channel before, or you're probably familiar with it anyway because it's a great pattern. But it's the Jarrah sweatshirt by Mens Patterns. It's a really nice versatile sweatshirt pattern. It's a relaxed fit, drop shoulder sweatshirt with loads of different options. It's a standard option with a just standard collar band, cuffs and a bottom band. You can make it with these split cuffs. There's also this sort of dipped hem with 2 lengths, like a longer length at the back. There's also this really cute tie front option like the model on the front of the envelope is wearing. And there's this really cosy version with a funnel neck top too. So it's a great pattern to buy if you want a pattern that you can make over and over again with different options. And it's got a really good size range too. Mens generally release her patterns in 2 size ranges. There's a standard size range, which goes from a US size 0 to 20. And then there's her curve range, which is from size 14 to 30. So yeah, very inclusive size range. It's designed for knit fabrics. I've made it in a lighter weight, like French terry type fabric, and also a cozier fleece back sweatshirt too, and they both work really well. But I've even seen this version with the tie front made in a jersey fabric for kind of more like a top than a sweatshirt, and that looks really nice too. So, and the instructions are great and it sews up really nicely, and it's just a really relaxed, easy one to wear. So in terms of sizing on the pattern, or how I choose my size, I always go for the size 0 on this pattern, and that fits my bust measurement, which is 32 inches. So my hips and waist would put me at a size 4, so slightly bigger, a couple of sizes larger. But I've always gone for the size 0 because when I looked at the finished garment measurements and also the general shape of it, it's a really boxy, loose, oversized fit. So I've always found it fine to go for the size 0, even though my waist and hips fall into a size 2 sizes larger. There's still plenty of room in it. But I'll show you my version. I've just got it here sitting on the floor. Here is my version I made. I made it in this really gorgeous fleece back sweatshirting fabric by Atelier Brunette. I love Atelier Brunette fabrics. I think they're so beautiful and really lovely quality, and they hadn't released any fleece back sweatshirting fabrics for quite a while. I'd seen lots of viscoses and viscose crepes and all that sort of thing. So I was really excited when they released another sweatshirting fabric. I previously made a solar sweater by Paper Cut Patterns in their most recent other sweatshirt fleece fabric they released, but that was maybe 3 years ago. It was really when I started sewing, and I've worn that sweatshirt a lot and the fabric has washed and worn really well. So I knew it was going to be great quality, and I couldn't resist this beautiful colourway here. So this fabric comes in 2 colourways. I've got the night colourway, which is a really, really dark, deep navy blue. It almost looks black, I think, on the camera, but you can see against my black top it is a navy blue. And there's also a really pretty cream version of this available too, and I've seen some lovely makes in the cream version, and I was really tempted to get the cream colour as well, but I just thought, oh, I'm not sure about me and cream. I ended up just getting it dirty quite quickly. But I really love this navy colourway. So here is my Jarrah sweatshirt. I also bought the matching ribbing in the night colourway for the collarband, the neckbands, that's it, and the cuffs and the hemband here, which is nice. Although I think you could actually make this using the sweatshirt fleece itself. You might just need to lengthen the neckband slightly because it wouldn't be as stretchy if you use the fabric itself. And then I decided, instead of using twin needling, I just zigzagged around the neckline because I quite like the look of how a zigzag looks sometimes. So yeah, this is my version. I made a couple of adjustments to the pattern. The first thing I did was to lengthen the sleeves by 1 inch. I often find I need to make that adjustment on a lot of patterns, and I think that's one of the benefits of sewing, that you can have sleeves that are long enough for your arms. And the other thing I also did was I lengthened the actual body of the sweatshirt by 1.5 inches, because it does come up quite cropped, this sweatshirt, and I do have to make a slightly longer body adjustment. So even with that 1.5 inches, it's not super duper long on me, but I'll put a picture up so you can see. I really love this sweatshirt. I think the fabric's so beautiful. I ummed and ahed which sweatshirt patterns to choose for a little bit, because I just thought it was such a nice fabric. I wanted to make the right choice, but in the end I went for the Jarrah because I thought it's such a simple sweatshirt design. It will really show off the beautiful fabric. But I thought I'd mention though, it is a lighter weight fleece back sweatshirt fabric, in case you're interested in this one. It's not a really cosy thick fleece back sweatshirt. It's lightweight, which I quite like because you can layer it up and you don't get too overheated in it. And I got the fabric and the ribbing both from Minerva. They have the matching ribbing in stock, which I found it was quite hard to get some places. So I'll link both the fabric and the ribbing below in case you're interested in that one. But that is my first make, and I've got loads of wear out of that one already, and I really enjoy wearing that one. So I'm glad I did buy that fabric, even though it was on the pricier side. The next of my winter makes I've got to share with you is actually some makes I made for other people, so some selfless sewing, and it's some Hudson pants I made for my son and also my husband. I made the ones for my son before Christmas, and the ones for my husband I've made since, but I thought I'd combine them all together. But I really love the Hudson Pants pattern. I'll put a picture up of the pattern so you can see what it looks like. There's a men's variation and a children's variation and a women's variation, and they have slight differences, but they're essentially the same, quite relaxed, easy to wear pair of joggers, and the pattern comes together really nicely. It's a really fun sew, and I've made so many pairs now, I don't need to think too much when I'm sewing it. But my son, pretty much it's the only thing he wears outside of school, at this time of year at least, which is really nice that he likes them so much. And it's so nice to be able to make him joggers that fit him nicely around the waist, because in the shops we found often the joggers will come a bit large around the waist and it was quite difficult to adapt them. But he wears them so much, he's worn a hole through a couple of pairs. So I ended up chopping those pairs off and turning them into shorts that he can wear in the summer. And I made him a new couple of pairs for winter. So I made him first of all this pair in this green colour, which is his choice. It's nice he can choose the colour himself, because you can't always find fun bright boys colours in the shops, I find. So this is first pair, just all in green, including the bottom band. I didn't use ribbing for the bottom cuff, so I actually made the cuff slightly larger to make sure they're easy enough for him to get on over his feet, because this fabric I've used is French terry, and once you've folded it over, it isn't like half as stretchy as ribbing. Yeah, it's a fairly lightweight French terry. I think it's Minerva's medium weight French terry, and I'll link it below. They have it in loads of different colours. And my son likes it because it's not too thick, so he doesn't get too hot in them. So yeah, this is my son's version. He really likes having the cord at the front, so I added on little eyelets and added on a navy cord. That was his choice of colour. So that's the first version I made for him. And then I made him a navy pair to replace a pair that he had worn holes through. So here's his navy pair. And this time he chose a really bright sort of zingy neon green cord to go on the front. This cord's looking a bit short. I can't remember why. I don't even know why it's ended up short. I think I might have ordered not enough of that one. I don't even know. Anyway, that's the second pair, all in navy. Again, with the same adjustment to increase the width of the ankle cuffs a little bit, because again, it's just in the French terry, so it's not quite as stretchy as a ribbing fabric. But he's really pleased with those, and he's worn them loads. I had to get this pair out of the airing cupboard. Actually, I don't think they're quite dry. I'm going to put them back in a moment, but I got those out just to show you guys. In terms of the age range for the mini Hudson pants, it goes from age 2 to an age 10. So my son is coming up to 9 now. I think I've still got the size 8 traced out for him because that seems to fit in fine around the waist. And then I just lengthen it if needs be on the pattern pieces, because it's a fairly slim fit on the leg, but no, not so slim fit that the size 8, it wouldn't be just fine for him. So I think even though it goes up to 10, I think it will last him a little bit longer. Because he has a fairly slim waist, I can just keep lengthening the pattern pieces, so hopefully it's a pattern I'll still be able to use him for a while to come. But yeah, he was pleased with those, so that's really good. And if I've got a picture of him wearing either of those, I'll try and put it up here. I'm not sure if I do or not. And then I made a pair for my husband using the Mens Hudson Pants pattern. The men's pattern is a bit different to the ladies' pattern. It's a bit more of there's slightly more room in the leg, I guess, and the cuffs at the bottom, or the ankle cuffs. With the women's version, it's a bit more of a feature cuff and they're a bit more oversized, but the men's ones are a bit more understated. Yeah, not quite so thick. So this is a pair I made for my husband. Again, it was in the medium weight French toe from Minerva, which I'll link below. My husband wanted the cord on as well, so again, I've added these little eyelets. And the eyelets I've bookmarked on my Amazon favourites page, and I'll link that below in case you're interested. They're 5mm eyelets, and I just went for the silver because I thought they'd work with most things. That's a pair for my husband. I find the Mens Hudson Pants come up quite true to size, so I didn't need to make any adjustments for my husband. And he really likes these ones. I don't think I have a picture of him wearing them. He has worn them quite a lot though. Every evening after work, he'll pop a pair on. He's got 3 pairs now. One of the pairs I think was a poly blend, so it's gone a bit bobbly. So I made sure to get him 2 nice cottony, 100% cotton or 95% cotton, 5% elastane type French toe blends for his pairs. So those are my selfless makes, and I realised actually I did make one other thing for somebody else, or a couple of other things for somebody else in December. For my mum for Christmas, I made her a Freya top by Tilling the Buttons from the Tilling the Buttons stretch book, this book here. This is a Freya top here. It's designed for sort of knit fabrics and it works great in a cotton jersey, which is what I made my mum. I made her this version here with the mock turtleneck neckline and the long sleeves, and it's quite a fitted top. And I made her a few versions before, so I knew what size she was, so I could sew up without her knowing, so it was a nice surprise for Christmas. But I realised I forgot to take a photo of that top before I gifted it to her, so I can't show you the top, unfortunately. I did talk about it in my Vlogmas, so if you're interested in seeing it, I will try and link the Vlogmas episode where I talked about it above, in case you fancy checking it out. But I also put a picture up of the fabric I used, because I thought it was really pretty fabric. It came from Lamazi Fabrics, and it was a really nice navy cotton jersey. And the lovely thing about it was yarn dyed navy through and through, so it didn't have it wasn't like a printed fabric with a white back. So when you stretched it, it was all navy, there was no white showing through. So I made that for her, but unfortunately I didn't take a picture of that one. So that was a bit of a shame, but there's another little make that I made in December, quite a quick one for a Christmas present for my mum. The next make I've got to share with you is one for me, and if you watch my Vlogmas, you'll have seen me sew this through the month of December. I didn't actually expect to sew it in December, but I think the fabric arrived in December and I'd started to make a toile of it. And I think with people enjoying me hearing about it in Vlogmas, it kind of spurred me on to finish it. So that was quite good actually. I got it done earlier than I expected, thanks to everyone's support. And it is a jacket I made using this pattern here, which is quite a new pattern that was released last year. It is the Hovia Jacket by Megan Nielsen Patterns. Megan Nielsen released this and also released a jumpsuit type pattern at the same time. And this pattern really caught my eye. It's a really nice relaxed jacket that I thought would be perfect for kind of transitional sort of spring and autumn weather. But it comes in lots of different variations. I'll show you the back because it's probably a bit easier to see. It's quite a relaxed sort of boxy fit dropped shoulder jacket. And you can make it in 3 different lengths, a cropped length or a sort of hip length or a longer length. And you can either make it with this collar band around the front, and you can add a tie around the waist as well, or you can finish it with bias binding around the edge. And it's got these cool slant pockets too. So yeah, it's just a really relaxed looking jacket. And you can make it lined, and the instructions are really comprehensive on this one. So I thought it'd be a great one to make a lined jacket with, and it would hold my hand through the process. I find Megan Nielsen instructions to be really good. And like with the Jarrah sweatshirt, it comes in Megan Nielsen's 2 size ranges, the 0 to 20 and then the curve 14 to 30 ranges. So yeah, it's a great size range on it. And I really fancy making this version here, the sort of cropped boxy fit version with a collar band around the front. And I really loved actually the fabric used that this model's wearing in the picture, and I discovered it was Merchant & Mill's cotton jacquard fabric. It looks almost quilted, and there are actually instructions in the pattern if you want to quilt your own fabric, so you can do that. But this isn't actually quilted fabric. It's a cotton jacquard fabric, and it's made up of sort of layers of cotton threads squished together. So it produced a really cozy, squishy fabric. And I got some in the Harvest Pink colourway, and I'll show you my jacket now so you can see what it looks like. Here's how my jacket turned out. So I got the Merchant Mills square print cotton jacquard fabric, and I'll link the fabric down below. I think it's in stock on their website at the moment, in this really pretty sort of dusky pink colour. And as you can see, the jacket's got the drop shoulders and these cool slanty pockets, and I've got the collar band on the front, and then I've got this beautiful lining, which is a Liberty Tana lawn fabric, which I got from Minerva. I'll link it down below. It's a really pretty floral print, and I thought the pinks really picked out the colour of the jacket. I added a little hanging hook on it, and then what I really like the idea of is rolling up the sleeves slightly so you can see a hint of the lining when you wear it. I thought that would look really nice, styled with a pair of jeans and a t-shirt in that sort of in-betweeny weather. So this is my version. It's sewed up really nicely. I found the instructions really good, and what I really loved about the instructions was they were really comprehensive, including offering different ways of doing different bits of the process so you could choose which way suited you best. And one example is how you insert the sleeves. There were two options given, either where you insert the sleeves on the flat to the bodice, or where you insert the sleeves in the round, so you kind of sew the sleeve seam and then insert it like that. And they gave kind of the pros and cons of each way of doing it too, which I thought was really great because you're kind of learning as you're sewing. So I'm really happy with how my version turned out. So I made a toile of this before I cut into my popper fabric, because both these fabrics were quite expensive, and I wanted to make a jacket that I knew would fit me and last for a long time to come, because the fabrics were quite expensive. So I just used some calico and some poly cotton for my toile. It wasn't designed to be a wearable toile, and I just made it exactly as per the pattern. I didn't make any adjustments. I thought I'd just try it and see how it comes out, and then I can adjust accordingly. For sizing, I chose the size 0, a bit like the Jarrah. That fits my bust, but my waist and hips are at size 4. But I knew from the finished garment measurements this was again quite a boxy, loose fit jacket, so I thought if I went on my bust measurement it would be fine. When I made my toile, I found I did need to make a couple of adjustments. The first thing I found I needed to make was I needed to increase the sleeve length, and I increased the sleeve by 1.5 inches, just to make them plenty long, and especially so when I turn them up a little bit, they won't end up looking really, really short, like at my elbow or something. And I also found I needed to increase the body slightly, and it was quite nice during Vlogmas actually, because I shared how my toile was looking, and people gave me an opinion on how much I think they thought I needed to lengthen it by. And I ended up lengthening it by 1.5 inches, just because I've got a fairly long body. I'm 5'6" for reference, and I'm really happy with the length of it. Now it's cropped, but it's not too cropped, I think. So I'll put a picture up of me wearing it so you can see how it looks on. I haven't really had much of a chance to wear it out of the house. I kind of enjoyed wearing it around the house, as you do with a new make, but I'm really looking forward to when the weather improves a bit and I can enjoy wearing this one out. I didn't add any tie at the front to pull it in, because I thought I'd just wear it open in a fairly casual fashion, but it was really satisfying sew, and I definitely recommend this pattern if you want to have a go at making a lined jacket and you want a pattern that will hold your hand through the process. So yeah, it's a really great pattern on that respect. Oh, and one thing I thought I'd mention in terms of the cotton jacquard fabric from Merchant Mills, if you decide to sew with this fabric, one thing I would recommend is that once you've cut the pattern pieces out, you overlock all the edges before you start sewing with them, because it's made up with lots of different threads sort of squished inside. Those threads do try and start to escape a little bit once the pattern pieces are cut out. So just to keep all a bit cleaner and neater, I would definitely recommend going around and overlocking before you start sewing. But that is my Hovia jacket. I really love it. It's not usually a colour I go for, that kind of pink colour, but I really think it's a great colour for spring, and I'm really looking forward to wearing that one. So yeah, hopefully the spring weather will come out soon, fingers crossed. The next makes I have to share are something I made for both me and my mum, and I made these before Christmas, and I gifted my mum hers as part of her Christmas presents, and they are some face masks, which aren't always the most exciting project, I know. But as the pandemic's gone on, I have enjoyed making more pretty face masks I can enjoy wearing a bit more. I think when the whole COVID situation kicked off at first and we knew we might have to start wearing face masks, I made a couple for me and my husband using scrap fabrics that I had left over that I really had no use for particularly. And I think that the first ones I made were using a cotton fabric that I'd made with a craft project for my son initially. And it was a bright turquoise fabric, so my husband had these bright turquoise masks and they weren't very attractive. And then as the pandemic's gone on, I've really enjoyed making masks that suit members of my family that they've chosen fabrics they like. So my husband really likes a plain navy one, and I've made some prettier ones for myself and a couple of fun ones for the children for when we were on holiday and they needed them. But yeah, so I made a couple more for Christmas, and I know it looks like face masks might be on the out soon, but we're not sure yet. So I thought I'd make a couple more to tide us over. And the first one I made was for my mum using a Liberty scrap. So when I decided to make my Hovia jacket, before I ordered the Liberty fabric, I ordered 3 swatches from Minerva, and you basically order a 10cm piece. It's called a sample. So you get a 10cm stripe of the fabric, which is quite a decent amount for kind of checking if you like the print. But this 10cm piece was just wide enough for me to be able to squeeze out a face mask for my mum. So I made that, and I'll put a picture up so you can see it. It's a fabric I decided not to use for my jacket, but it's a really pretty one, lovely floral print. And yeah, I made her that mask using the 3D face mask pattern, and I made that using a tutorial on Instagram by the Stitch Odyssey, who's Marie, and I'll link the tutorial down below in case you're still interested in sewing face masks. This is my mum and my husband's favourite face mask pattern. They find it really comfortable to wear, and actually it's my favourite one to sew. There are a few more pieces to cut out for this pattern. I think there are 4 for the main face mask and then 2 for the side piece, so 6 pieces in all. But once you cut them out, the sewing process is quite satisfying for a face mask, I think, and there's some top stitching involved too. So I do quite enjoy sewing that face mask pattern. So I made my mum 2, this Liberty one, and then also made her one with leftovers from a top I'd made for myself, which is the cuff top by Assembly Line, and I don't think I have a picture of that face mask, but I'll put the top up so you can see the fabric. But it's another pretty floral one. So those are the ones I made for my mum, and I included a layer of jersey fabric in between, so they're kind of 3-layer face masks. And then for myself, I prefer a different face mask pattern, which is the Dorata Davies free face mask pattern, and I'll link it below again if you have any interest in making any more face masks. I find this one more comfy for myself, but it's not as fun to sew. It's a bit more fiddly because you make it as kind of one piece, and you kind of you add little darts almost at the bottom and top to kind of shape it for your face. So it's a bit more fiddly, but these are my versions. After I made my mum's version and the Liberty fabric, I thought, oh, I'd really like a Liberty one myself. And luckily I had enough scraps of the Liberty fabric I used for the lining of my Hovia jacket to make myself one, because this pattern piece, the Dorata Davies one, is wider than 10cm, so I couldn't fit it on any of the sample pieces I had. It's a slightly different shape pattern piece. But yeah, this is my one. I had some pink jersey fabric left over, which I thought was quite cute for the little bands at the side. I prefer jersey fabric. I just cut strips because I find it a bit soft around the ears. So I'll put that one on. So I think it's quite pretty as face masks go. And then I also made this one here for me again, for maybe matching with my navies and that sort of thing, like jeans and a navy jumper. I thought that would look nice with. Using this check fabric. Again, it came from Minerva, and this is left over from some pyjama bottoms I made for my husband. So I quite like a nice check fabric, and I like the colours in this one. So it's another one I made for me. Again, using the Dorata Davies free pattern, but I'll link that pattern too below. But yeah, they were just a little make. But I have got to the point now where I find it quite satisfying. And as I say, I do quite enjoy picking out a face mask to go with my outfit. So that might be a little bit sad, but you've got to find joy where you can, haven't you? So those are my face masks. So that is my final sewing make I've got to share with you from winter. And I'll be sharing a few more makes you might have seen on my Instagram for my January in a video in a couple of weeks' time. But I have got one knitting make to share with you, which is a really cute one actually, I think. I made it using, where's my magazine? This Christmas magazine that I've had for a while. It's a King Cole Christmas Knits magazine, and I initially bought it to make a knitting nativity, which we have out every Christmas. And I was having a leaf through for other projects in here because I hadn't really explored any of my projects. And I found these really cute fairy lights garland, which is here. I thought it was really pretty, and it shows a picture here of you hanging it on your fireplace. And I really fancied making a set for Christmas. So I made a set for Christmas, and I've gone on to make one other set too, which I'll show you. The Christmas set, first of all, I made using leftover yarn in my stash because I've got a bit of a stash, particularly when I've made small cats and dogs or the knit nativity. You don't need a whole ball really, so you're left with quite a lot of wool left over, and I'm trying to find ways to use it. And I had some sparkly wool left over that I'd used to knit my kings from my nativity set. So I used that to make a Christmassy fairy light garland, and I'll put a picture up of that one so you can see how it looks because it's now gone back in the loft. Or actually, it might have gone in the cupboard upstairs somewhere. I think I try and keep my knitted things out of the loft to keep them safe, but it's tidied away somewhere. But that is my knitted set for Christmas. And when they came down after Christmas, I really missed them actually. So I decided to make another set to just use for the rest of the year round. So for this set, I chose kind of a neutral colour that would go with our front room, which is kind of beiges and browns and sort of natural colours. So this is my second set here. And I'm really pleased how they turned out. And it was quite nice to turn a pattern that's designed for Christmas into something that could work all year round. So yeah, these are they. They're really fun knit actually. Once you get into the swing of it, it's obviously quite repetitive knitting the same fairy light over and over again, but it's quite a nice project to do in front of the TV. And then the cord here, so I've used an off-white colour for the the little fairy lights. And then for the cord, I've used this sort of pretty sort of warm sort of taupe or brown colour. And I made an I-cord. This is knitted using an I-cord, which is quite satisfying. I quite enjoy getting the double pointed needles out and doing a little I-cord. So yeah, this is my set that are currently up. I've hung them over the mirror in our front room, and I quite enjoy having them there. Well, I'll have them there until next Christmas, I guess. But they're fun knits. And again, this Christmas Knits magazine, I've got that bookmarked in my Amazon favourites, so I'll link it down below. There's some really nice projects in here. I also, over Christmas, knitted some of these little knitted sweater decorations for the tree. For me and my mum and my sister, I knitted some. And I talk more about those in my Christmas makes video that I put out, I think in December. And I'll link it in case you fancy having a look at those. But yeah, I won't go into detail on those now. But that is my final make to share with you today. So like I mentioned, I'll be doing a January makes video in a couple of weeks' time where I'll talk about some more things that I've been making recently. But thank you so much for watching and hearing all about what I've been up to. It was quite nice to revisit some of these makes from before Christmas actually, because I think when I made them, I was doing Vlogmas at the same time and I felt a bit like I was like dashing around all over the place trying to get everything sorted. So it's nice to step back now and enjoy them and think about, yeah, what I've made. So that's been good. So if you've enjoyed this video, I'd love it if you would give it a thumbs up. And if you're new to my channel and like to hear more about my sewing adventures, I would love it if you would subscribe. And all that remains to say is I hope you have a lovely day and I'll hopefully see you again soon. So thanks again for watching and I'll see you soon. Bye!